How's it going? I'll be filming in a different room for this review. Hopefully it's not too much of a change, like you won't be too upset. It's time for me to review an album by Tom Odell called Wrong Crowd. Very recent album, came out in June. This is an indie pop record, but as I listened to it I started to realize that it also has elements of swing, a bit of jazz. It's got a lot of different E-word elements from different genres, and it's using those to create an album that is rich, it's ambitious, well, more ambitious than Tom Odell's last debut album, but it's also a piece of very accessible pop. So to be honest, it's something you can definitely just pick up and listen to without having to worry about the music being too out of your comfort zone. It's very comfortable, it's actually extremely beautiful, there's so much emotion coming through on the tracks and the lyrics and the instrumentation, and the build-ups in each track are incredible. Sometimes they go from very stripped down tracks and then they add little vocal harmonies, new percussion, or maybe entire orchestras, which is, you know, always a winning factor for me when they're used exceptionally well. And on this album, yeah, I'd say they are. On this album, Tom is portraying a character or a narrator who is very upfront about their vulnerabilities, their flaws, all the things they're insecure about. And you know, they come off as quite a vulnerable person opening up about his confessions of love or personal feelings. And the blatant honesty and the upfrontness, if that's a word, of this personality on the album is actually quite refreshing and very endearing when you look into these lyrics. In fact, the rich, grand instrumentation that presents some big concept throughout the album's runtime reminds me of Janelle Monáe's album The Archandroid, which is also an album I really love and I would recommend you check out, but not before I explain some of the tracks in detail on this Tom Odell record. I love the tracks on this LP that use whistling as a form of instrumentation, like the track Sparrow or the title track Wrong Crowd, which has this absolutely beautiful combination of piano and the whistling over the top, and it just comes together in a way that is just so pretty. And of course, only adding to this are the strings that come in later on. On the track Wrong Crowd, there's even a cheeky electric guitar which kind of slides in subtly. And in that title track, the narrator is basically going on about being in the wrong crowd of friends or people, hanging around with people who are having a bad influence on you. And then you've got the song Magnetized, the build-up of the song. It's definitely a dancier, energetic, and even uplifting track on this album. And that chorus will just get stuck in your head forever and ever and ever. You could say the way it just sticks around in your head, it's magnetized almost. The song Concrete is slower, but it's incredibly sexy. The way that the falsetto vocals just come in during that chorus, concrete, and you just want to click your fingers along to the rhythm because it's just so endearing, and it just kind of settles you in with that chorus that's just, oh, ooh. The song Constellations is beautiful. Love the romantic lyrics that just kind of warm your heart a little bit, even though they're a little bit vulnerable, a little bit brutally honest. The song Still Getting Used to Being on My Own plays out like some sort of Regina Spektor song, and just putting it out there, I am a huge fan of Regina Spektor, so seeing a track that kind of reminds me of her style of music, with the very jazzy pianos that swing tempo, and some big band instrumentals coming in, it's a really comfortable style of music for me to listen to. Also the track Here I Am, which is very disco inspired and funky and just like, it makes you want to do that along to the song. Although I won't deny that there are some tracks that could have gone a little bit better. For example, the track Silhouette, which starts off as this, you know, very pretty string section which sounds straight out of a Disney animated film. And then eventually you start recognizing that it's kind of like the tune of that one song from the musical Cats. And then suddenly, after all of this orchestral string goodness, just kicks in randomly into the synth pop dance beat rhythm tune thing. And then this sudden change in instrumentation just caught me off guard so much. Kind of took me out of it a little bit. Also, I feel the lyrics on this track are a little bit cheesy or cliche, but you know, the song Daddy on this album has a very rock-based, heavy instrumental that's just going hard out. Feels out of place on this album, which is just so full of rich, beautiful songs that are just trying to settle you into this world that's so grand and visceral and then suddenly this song Daddy just kind of feels too hard amidst all of these other tracks which are in contrast more delicate. But aside from that, aside from all those flaws, I think that this album is incredible. I'll be honest, I really just checked this album out just out of curiosity. I wasn't expecting to like it so much, but I ended up liking it a lot. Tom Odell's Wrong Crowd is definitely getting an 8 out of 10. As an album that seems to be exploring some sort of grand concept, I feel in the majority of places it's nailing this right on the head. This is an album that's worth checking out, so go check it out, man.